This video is going to talk you through variables and replacements, and we're going to start with some vocabulary. So a variable is a letter of the alphabet that stands for an unknown quantity, and a lot of times in algebra we see the letter X as our unknown quantity. You can use any letter though. So X is our variable, and it stands for any number. So let's just say X is equal to 2. X is that unknown quantity. Okay? An algebraic expression has operations, so adding, subtraction, multiplication, division, variables, and numbers. No equal sign at all. Okay? So an example would be anything down here. These are all algebraic expressions. And a replacement just means to substitute. Okay? So replace something means I'm going to replace this X with a number. So I'm going to plug in 2 for that X, or I'm going to replace it. So let's talk about how we use these replacement values and variables to simplify expressions. So this is kind of my code. Every time I see an A, it's going to be -3. Anytime a B, I see a 5, so on and so forth. So I have expressions down here that I need to simplify. So I'm going to take this first expression and I'm going to replace every variable with the value that I see up here. So it's really important to remember to use parentheses every time that you replace a variable. So I see an A, and up here A is equal to -3. So instead of writing A, I'm going to write -3, and I'm going to put that in parentheses, because that A had an exponent there, and now I have to write D. So D is 4. I'm going to put that in parentheses as well, plus B is 5, and C is 1/2. Okay, so the reason I do parentheses is because remember, anytime I see parentheses next to each other or next to a number, that's going to tell me to multiply. So it's important for me to keep that in mind. If I didn't do those parentheses, this would look like 5 1/2. So be very careful of that replacing. So I'm going to follow order of operations, so PEMDAS now, to simplify this expression. So -3 squared means -3 times -3, which is 9. And I'm going to bring everything else down. I'm just going to keep doing multiplication, following order of operations. Bring everything else down. 36. I'm going to make this as a decimal. 5 times 1/2 is 2 1/2. And then I have 38.5. Okay? I'm going to have you guys come back and try this one on your own. I'm going to do example 3 with you and then have you try it. So for this one, I see a fraction, but I'm not going to let it freak me out just yet. I'm going to just take it one step at a time. So I'm going to replace everything. So D is 4. Remember to use those parentheses. Divided by C is 1/2. Plus, now this is already in parentheses, so A is -3 times 4 over 6. So I'm going to follow my order of operations. If I see multiplication, division in the same problem, remember I'm going to do left to right, but I see some parentheses, so I'm going to go ahead and do those first. So I'm going to have 4 divided by 1/2 plus parentheses is going to give me -12 over 6. And then I'm going to do my division. 4 divided by 1/2 is going to give me 8. Plus some division here, I have -2. And my final answer is going to be 6. So go ahead and try example 2, see how you do, and check your answer.